Did Steven Spielberg's new movie Disclosure Day just put an end to Christianity? I can tell you what right now, most people are talking like it will, based on all of the stuff that's happening in the media, from testimonies from David Grush and other people. Uh, the Age of Disclosure documentary that dropped last year on Amazon Prime, which is something. Let's talk about this because this is a big deal. Because a lot of people are saying this, and it's not just me. There are people with bigger platforms that are saying Christianity is about to be exposed. In fact, apparently, Steven Spielberg himself said that his movie, Disclosure Day, is going to rattle the faith of Christians. Let me say this first and foremost. I find it interesting that when they talk about the end of a religion based on the possible revealing of alien, what we call alien, right? Extraterrestrial life form. It's interesting that they always target Christianity, right? Why don't they say religion? Why don't they say, maybe it's because we're in America, they're trying to pull the strings as if America's a Christian nation. I get it. They never say it's going to rattle the Islamic faith, Buddhists. It's going to make the Baha'i faith, Judaism lose it's always Christianity. But I digress. A lot of people are saying this. So we're going to take a look. But first things first, welcome to CNN. I'm your host. I know it's been a minute. I lost a couple subscribers. I get it. Do what you got to do, fam. You only live once. Actually, you live twice. You only live once here, right? Ephesians 5, this is how we do it. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. So here's the question. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? You have to be, because you're sharper than me. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Let's watch this brief. This is a guy's channel. I like this channel, right? This is a guy. I don't watch it all the time, but I like this guy's channel. He's a believer. We're just going to watch just a brief introduction of his video, watching someone else's video talk about Disclosure Day, and then let's have a conversation. Did the movie, or will the movie, put an end to Christianity as we know it? All right, let's find out.
These people are getting us ready for something, so you need to pay attention. Steven Spielberg's movie Disclosure Day, the movie about the UFOs, is dropping this Friday. And let me tell you this, you might not want to go see that movie. First and foremost, and Steven Spielberg said this himself, his new alien movie Disclosure Day will make Christians second guess their religion. And you got to ask yourself, why would he say something like that? What type of information does he have that'll make Christians second guess their religion? Listen to it.
Is today's
It's about to be some scary shit. This shit is talking through her.
Do you understand what she's saying?
I hear it's gibberish. I can't understand it.
No, I can't.
It was a guy that reviewed the movie that said when he left out, he felt like something was following him. It was another guy that reviewed the movie that said he was sitting there watching the movie and he had to ask himself, am I crying? And he wasn't crying. He said he hasn't been that scared in a movie since he was a kid. People are also saying that it's crazy that he was spot on with these aliens in the movie. Meaning these aliens in the movie look too damn real. All I'm going to say is.
All right. Okay. Let's have a conversation. All right. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? All right. So out the gate, I went and saw Disclosure Day on Friday night. Me and two guys from my church. Now, let me say this. I've been doing a series in my church that started 3 Sundays ago called The End of the World as We Know It. And a lot of it is because of a lot of what's happening with all the conversation about this movie Disclosure Day. So let me say a couple things. And this is going to primarily be towards those of you who, like me, share the Christian faith. Let me say a few things. I saw the movie, and while I don't want to denigrate anyone's experience, this guy in the video said that one guy said something followed him. Another guy asked if he was crying because he was so scared watching this movie. I saw the movie. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but let me say this. I have no idea what these guys are talking about. This movie was the furthest thing from scary, and nothing followed me home but the popcorn stains and the icy that was on my shirt. All right? I don't know what these guys are talking about. There have been way other movies that are more scary than this joint. But again, that's their experience. I think, why would Steven Spielberg say this is going to rattle the faith of a lot of Christians? Well, here's one thought. Because first weekend sales are huge in the entertainment industry. When you release an album, right, they're always talking about first week sales are going to be the highest, and then they drop down from there. At movies report like box office opening weekend, you want to get as many, because listen, they don't care if you like the movie. What they care for is, did you pay to go see this movie? And if you did, that counts to the first week sales. They don't care if you agree, if you like it, if you think, man, this thing is cap. They lied to me. You ever been to a movie where the trailers look crazy? Remember when they used to call it coming attractions? Shout if you remember coming. The trailer, like, we got to see this. And then you get to the movie and be like, fam, the trailer was better than the movie. They don't care because they expect a drop off after the first weekend. First weekend sales are huge. So why would Steven Spielberg say that? Could be a reason. Could be part of it. Now, I do think the world is doing something, and there's a lot more going on, but that's for the next video. Let's talk about Disclosure Day, the reality. I'm not going to give the plot. I'm not going to give anything, but here's the reality. It was a movie about an organization that was non-governmental, but that had some authority in the government. Were trying to keep the main guy, and Emily Blunt, her character, well, mainly the main guy, from secrets that he stole, video footage that he stole, showing that these things are real, right? That's what it was about. It wasn't just UFOs flying. He had footage of actual beings, and that's the whole movie is around that. Emily Blunt's character plays a huge role, all of this stuff. There were times when certain things in the movie did seem like this is demonic, 100%. Like, wow, this is like, seems demonic. I get that, right? But as far as the whole thing, that's not really the issue. But here's what this video is about. This video isn't a review of the actual movie. It's a pushback to what the guy said at the beginning, that this is going to Spielberg, anyone, this is going to end Christianity, right? How many of you remember a movie called The Da Vinci Code? This came out, I don't know, 15 years ago. And I remembered when the Da Vinci Code came out, everyone said, wow, this is going to destroy Christianity. Because Da Vinci Code was supposedly, Jesus didn't die on the cross, but he ended up having a child with Mary. And then that child ended up being, over the generations, I think within the monarchy of the King of France or something like that. And this whole movie was designed, I think Tom Hanks was in it. It was a big film, and it was designed, it was a book, a guy wrote a book that was supposed to disprove Christianity. And I remember Christians were flipping out, and nothing about that movie. It was theatrical. It was a decent movie. Nothing about that movie rattled the faith of anyone that I know of. It was one of those things. And it's interesting that they're always trying to disprove Christianity. Why is no one trying to disprove Islam, Buddhism, all these other things? It's really interesting, but that's a different conversation, and we kind of know why. But nothing happened. The Da Vinci Code did not in any way rattle the faith of anyone. It did not stop Christianity, and neither will this movie. Disclosure Day is not going to rock the faith of the majority of people who are solid in the faith. It's a movie. It's a good movie. It's sci-fi. It's a good movie. Okay, it's decent. I don't even think it's his best sci-fi movie, but it was good. But this idea, like this stuff, like this is not helpful stuff. Christians are going to be rattled because it's like, well, why would we be? We should be, everyone who's a believer should be firm as Paul was. That like, we don't, okay, if something is revealed, it may make us wonder, well, why didn't God describe this in the Bible? That's the question that most Christians may wonder. Well, why isn't there a scripture specifically that details that God made other beings, right? If you even believe they're aliens. Now, I don't, but that's a different video. It's a different video. But let's assume that you do. That at the most, that's a question that you should ask. The revelation itself is not going to rock Christianity. It's not going to rock Christianity. Let me tell you what Paul said, and then I want to show you something that God said in Deuteronomy that we should lock in on. All right, here's what Paul said, and this should stand for all of us. Let's know what he says here. This is Galatians 1. Paul says this. He says, I am astonished that you are so quickly deserting him who called you in the grace of Christ and are returning to a different gospel. So listen to what he's saying. He's saying people who initially believed the gospel are now turning to a different gospel, right? So he's saying it's possible to turn to a different gospel. Not that there is another one, but there are some who trouble you and want to distort the gospel of Christ. So you see the distinction. There's the gospel of Christ and there are other gospels, other good newses, supposedly, right? And then look at what he says here. But if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to the one we preach to you, let him be accursed. As we have said before, so now I say again, if anyone is preaching to you a gospel contrary to the one you received, let him be accursed. All right, this is an important statement because if you know Greek, you understand something important here. When Paul says, but if even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a different gospel, this isn't hyperbole. Paul's not talking like as an analogy, like almost like unrealistic. Like no, he's saying even if we or an angel from heaven should preach to you a gospel contrary to the one preached to you, right? So let's look at this in the modern context, right? Obviously, the word angel means angelos, right? It means a messenger from God, and it says from heaven. Now, here's the problem for us. When we hear heaven, we only think of, oh, that means where God is, the place that we're going if you're a Christian after you die, where God is and all of it. So an angel from God, that's not what Paul is saying. An angel from heaven, the Greek word for heaven can also mean sky. All it means is if an angel from that's not of this dimension, that's not of the earth, it's distinctly separated from the earth, preaches to you a different gospel, let him be accursed. Now, angelos does mean angel, right? But if you think about it in the context, what is an angel actually, right? Because angels can be both. Satan had fallen angels, right? Revelation 12. Satan and his angels went to war with Michael and his angels, right? An angel can be fallen or can be with God, right? So an angel that is a fallen angel is a being that's not of this world, right? If we just extrapolate, let's step back and look at what is an angel, just not biblically, but just as a being, a created being. It is an interdimensional being, not of this world, right? It's not from earth. It's not created differently, all of it. And Paul is not describing if an angel shows up that looks like a human being, like Hebrews 13:7 says, it says 13, I think 2, where it says, basically paraphrasing, be careful how you treat people because you might be entertaining angels unaware. So saying these people may look human beings, but they may actually be angels. This happens. This is the scriptures, whether we like it or not. We have to be careful of selective supernaturalism. Oh, I believe in the virgin birth. I believe Jesus was fully God, fully man. He walked on water. He did these things, but no way an angel could do this. Right? That's not what the Jews believed in their day, but I digress. Paul is saying if an interdimensional being who looks like an interdimensional being, not like looks like a human being, preaches to you a different gospel, let him be accursed. So let's just say if a creature, if they reveal that there's a creature, right, that they've had access to, and they reveal to us that this creature exists, and they start telling us something and talking, I'm not worried about is it real or not, right? Because if it preaches a different gospel, then I already know what time it is. Now, let me prove this to you from a different passage, right? Old Testament. Listen to what God says here. Old Testament, Deuteronomy 13. Listen to this. If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or wonder, and the sign or wonder that he tells you comes to pass, right? Comes to pass. So this is not the people who said the rapture is going to happen on September 21st or 22nd. Or, oh no, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's October 6th or 7th. These aren't the people who, when people say something and it doesn't come to pass, easy. That's Deuteronomy 18. False prophet, clearly. But here, God is saying, if he tells you a sign and wonder that tells you, and it comes to pass, right? So if it happens, and he says, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us serve them, you shall not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, right? So here's what God is saying. If someone shows up, right, and they give you a dream that comes true, or they can do a sign or a wonder that is legitimate. In a different video, we got to talk about what's the difference between false signs and wonders and not. What makes a wonder false versus non-false? It's not what you think, but that's a different video. But here, God says, if that person does a sign and it comes to pass, if they say something about the future and it happens, if they can prove it, then he says, this is what you pay attention to. Let us go after other gods which you have not known. In other words, if someone preaches a different gospel, he says they're a false prophet. God is saying here, let us go after other gods which you have not known, and let us serve them. You shall not listen to the words of that prophet, the dreamer of dreams. Why? Because for the Lord your God is testing you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul. So what am I trying to say? If there's a real disclosure, which a lot of people are saying, we are about to find out that we're not alone. If you're a genuine Christian who understands the supernatural storyline of the Bible, then we know that we're not alone in terms of humanity itself. We're not the only beings that have access to this world and that interact in this world for their own purposes. We already know this from the scriptures. The scripture is not devoid of this. So if they do reveal an alien, and they can do, and I'm saying alien because that's what they would call them. If they can do these things, right? Then the question becomes, who gets the glory? That's what all Christians should focus on. Okay, that was good. Remember when David Copperfield made it look like the Statue of Liberty disappeared some years ago? There's some magicians now that we'd be like, man, how did they do that? That must be demonic. How is he floating without? Okay. If they do something that's true, the question you have to ask is, who gets the glory here? Who gets the glory? If it's, you need to worship us, we gave you religion so that you wouldn't destroy yourselves. We are the benevolent beings. That's a different gospel. I'm hip. It's a different gospel. It's a different gospel. You say less. That's all you say less. Now, if you do something and you say, praise be to Jesus, the Son of God who came, I'm with you. I'll dap you. But once you say something else, say that's it. That's it. That's a wrap for me. That's all I need. So Disclosure Day, Steven Spielberg. That movie and what happens in that movie does not say anything about Jesus Christ. It doesn't give anything to him, but to these aliens and so forth. So I'm hip. I'm already hip. This is a new Da Vinci Code. We should not be rattled in our faith. We should not be. Because my faith is not determined on whether or not God answers every question I have about the universe. It's that God came into the universe and as Jesus Christ. He lived a perfect life to obey God. He died brutally to be punished for all of us who would define good and evil on our own terms. And then he rose from the dead to prove that he was God and said, all right, if you believe in me, I'm going to give you my spirit, and you're going to fight to the end. The world, the flesh, and the devil. If there's a gospel other than that, it's cap and gown. I'm not going for it. But what do I know? I know I keep saying this because I keep saying it. But I'm about to do a new series on YouTube where we're going to start unpack. I'm going to take this stuff I'm teaching my church and just unpack it. But I don't want to say things on YouTube first. I want to say them to my church first. But now that I got 3 messages in, I'm going to start unpacking. And so the next video that I post, which will be tomorrow at, let me see, I have actually been working on posting times, right? This is serious. I'm taking this serious, y'all. My next video will be, where did I save it at? Here we go. Tuesday at 2 p.m. I will post a video called How Did We Get Here? How do we get to the point where all the conversation about aliens and stuff is happening? How do we get here? Like and subscribe to the channel. The people that left, come back. I got you. My bad. We're going in. This is causing a lot of problems, and I want to help, if possible, with some solutions. See you next video.